So welcome everyone. We're going to start seated just for a couple minutes. So just make sure you've got your tune-up balls, your alpha ball, couple blocks, bolster, and a blanket. So just settling into some height. So sitting up on a block or a folded blanket, even your bolster would work. Closing your eyes, sitting up nice and tall through your spine, softening your shoulders away from your ears, nice long back of the neck. And let's begin with 3 deep breaths. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Settling into the room that you're in. Nice deep inhale. Let it go through the mouth. Settling onto your mat, feeling your presence and your weight on the earth. Inhaling and releasing through the mouth. Letting go of your day. Letting go of your thinking mind. And dropping into your feeling, being, breathing body. And begin to notice your breath. Just noticing how the breath expands the body on the inhalations and relaxes the body on the exhalations. Tuning into your energy, to your physical body. And just checking in, noticing how you're doing. Being a witness to that. Giving yourself some much needed attention and love. Bringing all of your focus to you, letting this be a time just for you to recharge, to reset. Okay, so you can wiggle your fingers and your toes and we'll carefully start to move down onto our back body. So we'll set up a block for the head and have both your tune-up balls handy. So move your prop off to the side. And come and lay down on your back with your head resting on the block. Knees are bent, feet flat on the floor. So I'm just starting to feel a little bit of traction through the neck. Softening the shoulders. And we'll take the therapy balls and leave them in their tote. Just pop them at the occipital ridge, just under the occipital ridge. There's 2 indentations at the base of your skull where the neck meets the skull. And just let the weight of your head descend down onto the therapy balls. Take a few deep breaths. In and out through the nose. And if you're ready, and only if you want to, you can start to rock the head very slowly and just a little bit from side to side. Just transferring different muscles onto your therapy balls and massaging the base of your skull, your neck muscles. And just noticing how that feels. Remembering to stay with your breathing. Letting go of any tension you're holding in your neck. If the balls start to move up the back of your head, you're welcome to just fold either side of the tote, and so they don't walk away from you. Okay, and let's come back to center and add a nod of the head. So a slow nod, a small movement. Breathing. Relaxing your jaw, relaxing your face. Feel your whole body letting go. Okay, so let's combine these two movements. So turning your head over to the right and adding a nod. Breathing in and out through the nose. And stay there as long as you like. And whenever you're ready, you can turn your head over to the left. And readjusting the tune-up balls if needed. And then adding a nod. So just play around with that for a little bit. And let your own sensations and your own body guide you. So moving at your own pace. And just giving your head a little massage. Okay. So as much as I'd like to do this for a lot longer, let's take the tune-up balls out and rest your head on the block for just a breath or two. Noticing how you feel. And then we'll move the block out of the way. Take your alpha ball and place it underneath your sacrum. So lift your hips, place it right at the middle of your sacrum, just above the tailbone, and release the weight of your hips down into your alpha ball. Take a few deep breaths here, relaxing the heads of the shoulders down into the earth, relaxing your face, your jaw, relaxing the belly, softening the inner thighs. And let's begin to rock the hips from right to left. So you don't need to come all the way out to the glute medius, just rocking a little over to the right, so mid glute, approximately, giving your sacrum and the upper gluteal muscles a little massage. So we will move the alpha ball a little further out to each side so that we'll get more into the glute muscles. Making sure the ball doesn't come out of position, so just readjusting as needed. Okay, so come back to center. We'll lift the hips, move the alpha ball over to the right. So it's in the middle of, it's between the glute medius and the middle of the sacrum. So we're halfway, still at the same level. And then adding some rocking of the hips from side to side. So now the ball is able to go a little further out to your outer hip. And if you want, you can hang out at your outer hip, or whatever muscle wants a little bit more attention. Just feel it out. Ball will have a tendency to walk out from under you, so just pop it back in. Okay, let's move to the other side. Lifting the hips and just roll the ball over to the left, a little past the middle of the sacrum and a little to the right of the outer left hip. And let the weight descend down, letting your muscles get a little used to the foreign object. And then adding some movement from side to side. Staying with your breath and enjoying the sensation of self-massage. Noticing if you're feeling a little sore in this area, letting go of breath through the mouth. If that feels good, just helps to really let go of whatever you're holding on to. Again, you can come to the outer hip and give your hip a little extra massage, a little extra love. Okay, and lift the hips, place them back down on the floor, remove the ball, and just extend the legs out. Take a moment and just notice how sacrum feels, how the back of your head feels. And then we're just going to get into the upper back body, the rhomboids on either side of the spine. So we'll come back to the tune-up balls, but leave them in their tote. And maybe just scooch down your mat a little bit, come to the bottom of your mat, because you may roll upwards. So just come to the bottom of your mat, and we'll place the tune-up balls just below the shoulder ridge. So one ball is on either side of your spine. Interlace the fingers behind the back of the head. Lift your hips so that more weight comes down into the tune-up balls, and then begin to rock up and down. So that push-pull action with the feet, and just begin to massage the muscles on either side of your spine. And stay as long as you like near the top. Just giving that a good massage. Breathing nice and deeply. And then maybe coming a little further down. So moving the balls an inch down and massaging slightly lower down on the spine, on either side of the spine, that is. And just slightly lower, so not coming too low. If your shirt is getting caught up in the balls, just hang on to the top of your t-shirt. So not coming too low, still staying in the thoracic area of the spine, upper back. Okay. All right. So lower the hips, and you can roll to one side and just move your tune-up balls out of the way. And take a couple of breaths. Just lay flat on your back, legs long, arms alongside the body, and just notice how your back feels. Notice how your whole body feels. Let's hug the knees in towards the chest. And just give yourself a little roll around. So circling the knees one way and circling the knees the other way. Okay, so we're going to roll over into Sphinx. So if you're not doing Sphinx today, the option is to lift your hips, slide a block under your sacrum, and then option to straighten the legs into full release, or just keep the knees bent. So if you're coming into Sphinx, roll over onto the belly and so just lining the elbows underneath the shoulders, forearms parallel to each other, feet about hip distance apart. And if this is even too much extension in the spine for you, too much of a back bend, walk the elbows away from the body and walk them closer into the body for more of a back bend. So settling in here. Relaxing the legs. Letting the pelvis sink down into the floor. Let's find a little bit of a lift between the shoulder blades. So popping up a little between the shoulder blades, and then relax the spine, the low back, down towards your mat. Relaxing the jaw. Relaxing the whole face, the whole head. If you want a stretch for the back of the neck, feel free to just tuck the chin in. For the last minute of the pose, and come a little deeper into seal, separate the hands, lift the elbows. This is just an option. You don't have to come deeper into your back bend, just for those of you who would like to. Shoulders can rise up towards the ears, keeping the glutes and the legs soft, jaw soft. Focusing on the flow and fluidity of your breath up and down your spine. Focusing on the sensation of compression in your low back. And we'll lower the elbows, lower the head, make a pillow with your hands, rest your forehead on your hands, and take a few deep breaths. Letting it all go, let yourself rest and relax. Give your hips a little rock from side to side, just introducing a little bit of gentle movement. And we'll walk the hands under the heads of the shoulders, press up through tabletop, separate the knees as wide as your mat, sink the heels back, walk the hands forward into extended child's pose. So you can always use a block or a blanket under your forehead, or roll up a blanket, place it behind your knees if you need that support. So if your hips are up high up your heels, definitely use a block under your forehead. Maybe even rolling up a blanket to place behind your knees. Stretching out the whole spine, the muscles in your back body. Stretching out the shoulders, the knees, the feet, the ankles. Relax your jaw. And focus on your breath. Whenever the mind wanders off, just gently come back, start over, follow your breath. Take 3 more breaths. And we'll start to come back up onto all fours, bringing the knees back under your hip points. And just take a couple of cat-cows in your own time. Okay, so find a blanket. You might need a block if you need some extra height. So we're coming into thread the needle with the arms. So the pillow is for the side of your head. So let's start on the right side. So pick up your right hand, reach it up towards the sky, find an opening through the chest, and then thread the right hand behind the left wrist. And you are either bringing the side of your head onto the floor or onto the blanket or the block. So there's a tendency for the left waist to shorten. Lengthen the left waist by sending the left hip away from the left low rib. Option to reach the left fingertips to the sky and maybe reach behind you, catching your right inner thigh. We won't be here for too long, just a couple of minutes. So you can keep your arm in this position. You can try something a little different, bringing the fingertips back up to the sky and then reaching the arm alongside the head. Resting the fingertips on the floor. If this doesn't feel good in your body, just come back to a previous arm position. Stay with your breath. Take 2 more deep breaths. Release the top arm. Press into the left hand. Slowly unwind back to tabletop. Take a few cat-cows in your own time. Just doing what feels good in your body. Maybe circling the hips one way, circling the hips the other way. Just finding some movement before we come into the other side. So we'll do the left side now. Picking up the left hand and reaching up towards the sky, opening across the chest, and sliding the left hand behind the right wrist. Moving the left fingertips as far away from the body as you can, coming down onto your blanket or your block or the floor. Option to reach the right fingertips up and back to catch your left inner thigh. Move the right hip down away from the left low rib. Finding a twist in your thoracic spine, stretching the back of your shoulder. And for the last minute, you can stay here, or you can release the back arm and let the arm come alongside the head, reaching the fingertips above the crown of the head. Keeping your breath long and full. Take 3 more breaths. Release the right hand back down to the floor in front of your heart. Slowly unwind. Move your blanket off to the side. Take a couple of cat cows or whatever movement your body feels called to do. And wag your tail. And circle the hips and the chest. Okay. So we'll step the right foot forward. Slide your blanket underneath your knee. Stack the right knee over the right ankle. And if using blocks under the hands is more comfortable for you, slide some blocks under the hands. Or you can come up onto tented fingertips, or you can make fists with your hands. So we usually move through some different types of dragon. We're just going to stay in baby dragon for the duration of the pose. So we'll be here for a few minutes. So just letting yourself settle in. It's okay even if you want to add a very gentle movement of your hips from side to side, just to feel into the stretch across all the different muscles at the front of your hip. You can explore that very carefully and gently. And then whenever you're ready, you can find stillness. Relaxing the head, the face, the neck. Feeling your low belly as it fills on the in-breath and empties on the out-breath. We're here for one more minute. All of your attention on your hips, taking your breath down to your hip flexors. Three more breaths here. Okay, so we're going to come all the way or directly into swan. So let's just scooch the pillow up so that it's on your right side, so you can use that for underneath your hip. So toe, heel, toe, the right foot over to the left, bring the knee to the floor. The right foot can come back in towards the body. That's okay, as much as you need. So just however your body wants to land. And if you need something underneath the right hip, if there's space between you and the floor, fill that space and slowly make your way down, resting your head on a block on whichever height suits your body, or you can make a pillow with your hands and come all the way down onto the floor. Know that you can always bend the back knee if needed. So coming into deer, if swan is more challenging, just keep the back knee bent and fold forward. Probably if your back knee is bent, you'll bring your right foot a little closer to the top of your mat so you actually get a glute stretch. Whenever you're ready, you can lower the height of your prop if you're using one. Maybe come a little lower to the floor. Top of the left thigh is facing down towards your mat. Frontal hip bones facing down towards your mat. If you need a bit more of a stretch through the right hip, just move your right foot closer towards the top of your mat. Take 3 more breaths. And we'll start to press the floor away, straightening the arms, walking the hands back in, and carefully releasing the front leg. Come to your tabletop position. Step the right foot back. Release the whole leg, hip to toes. Just give it a little release, bending and straightening the knee. And if you like, you can take a brief downward dog. If you don't want to take down dog, come into child's pose. Lowering the knees, and let's all take child's pose just for a couple of breaths. So you can bring your head to a pillow, knees together, toes together, heads of the shoulders draping round the outer thighs. And we'll move over onto the left side. So moving your blanket, folded blanket over to the right for your right knee. Step the left leg forward and slide your right knee back until you start to feel a good stretch through your right hip flexors. Using blocks under the hands if that feels more comfortable for you. And find your breath. Letting it be long and slow in and out through the nose. Now let's count together. So let's breathe in for 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Keep going on your own, extending it even longer if you like. Your head, neck be relaxed, jaw and face relaxed. 3 more breaths. Okay, tuck the toes under. If you're using a blanket, just scooch the blanket forward a little bit, catch the blanket, place it over to your left, lower the back knee, toe, heel, toe, the left foot over to the right, into swan, lower the knee, bring the right or left foot in closer to the groin. If you need to, slide your blanket under the left hip to give yourself some more support. And in your own time, whenever you're ready, fold forward and let yourself sink into the pose. Noticing the difference on this side compared to your right side. Maybe there's a difference. Just noticing that without any judgment. If you find yourself getting caught up in thoughts, just noting that and guiding your attention back to this moment, anchoring yourself in your breath and in sensation. If counting the breath helps to keep you present, begin counting the breath. Take 3 more breaths. Now slowly start to rise back up. Straightening your elbows. Move your cushion out of the way. Release your front leg. And step it all the way back to release hip to toe. And just give it a little pump. And yeah, let's all come into down dog just for a few breaths. Tuck the toes under, lift the knees, lift the hips. Pressing into all 10 knuckles of the hands. Bending the knees as much as you need. Adding a little bit of movement if you like. Swaying the hips from side to side. Bending and straightening the knees. And let's baby step the feet all the way up towards the wrists. And we'll come into dangling. If you would like support for your head, you can stack your blocks and rest the head on the blocks if that feels better for you. Or you can catch opposite elbows to add a little more weight into the body, into the upper body, or you can let the hands just rest and dangle on the floor. Bend your knees as much as you like. Bending the knees helps to release the low back, send the sit bones to the sky. And in your own time, maybe not today, you're working towards straight legs. It's a really nice pose to decompress your spine, to stretch the hamstrings, to bring blood to the head. Really good pose for if you've got a headache, just increasing circulation to your brain. We're here for just under a minute more. If you've had enough, feel free to come down into a squat. Okay. And toe heel toe, the feet apart. Come down into a squat. Take a few breaths here. And reach your hands behind you and sit down on your mat. And let's prepare for Shavasana. So finding your pillow, finding your bolster, sliding it underneath the backs of your legs. Easing yourself all the way down onto your back body. Lifting the hips, guiding the tailbone down towards your bolster. The knees and the feet rest out to the sides, sliding the shoulder blades in and down the back body. Hands, our palms facing up. Let the lips part. Release the tongue from the roof of your mouth. Let your breath become shallow. And let your whole body rest and recover and relax completely. Slowly begin to deepen your breathing, letting your body wake up slowly and gently, adding a little movement to your fingers and toes. Rock your head from side to side. Circle the wrists and the ankles one way, and then the other. Hug your knees in towards your chest. Give yourself one last hug. And stretch the body out long. Give yourself one last stretch. And bend the knees. Roll over onto one side. Take a couple of breaths here. And slowly come on back up into a seated position. Setting up on a little bit of height if it's handy. So, and just taking another moment to notice the effects of your practice. Feeling nice and rooted and connected to the earth, nice and light and long and tall through the spine. Let's take a few deep breaths together. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. In through the nose and out through the nose. One more. Join the palms at your heart space. Rub the hands together briskly. Once you feel a bit of heat, cup your palms over your eyes. And wash the face, the neck. Bring your hands back to your heart, lifting your heart, bowing your head. Letting your inner light shine out into the world, into everyone you meet, bringing spirit into all of your interactions. And thank you so much, everyone, for being here. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Theresa.
Thanks, Theresa.
Thanks, Theresa.